So welcome. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to attend the Spring Research Collaborative meeting that we host. Some of the same familiar faces from previous meetings, and so hopefully this one will be as informative as others. So I have to read this disclaimer, so bear with me. This webinar will be recorded and shared publicly. Consequently, anything shared during this webinar, including chat comments, could be shared publicly. The webinar may represent a presenters or attendees' personal views, opinions, conclusions, and other information which do not necessarily reflect those of MVU and or the Michigan Virtual Learning Research Institute and are not given nor endorsed by MVU, MVLRI unless otherwise specified. So today it'll follow a similar format. We'll do some brief introductions, then get down to some business, including some collaboration opportunities, grants, research, publications, some upcoming conferences that are on our radar and maybe some that are on yours, any other opportunities, questions about current research, and anything else that anyone really wants to share. And we will wrap up by talking about some of our upcoming events and some other upcoming events that we know of. So if you don't mind, in the chat box, could you include your name, affiliation, and some research interests? And if you've got it in you, what you'd like to get out of this meeting, if you've thought about that. So we'll take just a minute for that. Also, if you'd like to use the mic to introduce yourself, you're absolutely more than welcome to. Great, thank you, Michael, David, Diana. Appreciate you putting that in there. So some business, the collaboration opportunities around grants, some of this are the same ones they identified last time, given that they have such long timelines. So the NSF Cyber Learning Grant is one that we've identified. The Spencer Research Practice Partnership Grant is another, and the IES Researcher Practitioner Partnerships in Education Research. Oh, you know what? I am going to turn it over to Janga to introduce this section. This is her section. Sorry, Janga, go ahead.
It's okay. So I'm so glad you could join us. And yes, this is what we have for collaboration opportunities in terms of grants. And yeah, NSF Cyber Learning Grant and Spencer Research Practice Partnership Grant and the IES grant. And I'm going to add the links in the chat box. Anyone have anything to share here? I think these are all we have now in terms of grants. So as people are talking about the research idea. So let's move on the next slide. So this is about collaboration opportunities in terms of research.
Changa, I can talk a little bit about the research that you and I are doing around locale. So Changa and I are working with some of the schools in the Virtual School Alliance to look at how students, at what rate they pass their course by locale, and if other factors such as gender or reason for taking the course might interact with that. This is research that we're finishing up, what I would consider maybe our first round of it, and we're going to be presenting at Diana's meeting coming up here soon. But we are, or I am at least anticipating a second round of this research, and hopefully including either more schools or some different types of analyses. So if you're interested in looking at students by locale, and particularly rural students, this is a project that will probably be ongoing for us. So if that's something you'd like to collaborate on, please let our team know, and we can talk about that further. Catherine, I didn't know if there's anything else that you had, any other projects that we're working on, sort of long term like that.
Yeah, there's actually something that David had just brought up about the intervention data. I believe that Joe was interested in potentially having some kind of summer project through the Institute as well on that. So I can always put you in touch with him as well. Might be a good opportunity to collaborate.
If we don't have anyone else who want to share about research, let's move on next. This is the collaboration opportunities for publication. We have the following opportunities that we're aware of and wanted to share, including the Journal of Online Learning Research and ACET Springer major online reference work that has a kind of a rolling due. For the JOLR, special topics include student support, blended learning research, and cyber schools, English language learner, and the topic of blended learning research is due August 22nd. I'm going to add the link in the chat box. Does anyone have opportunities that they would like to share?
Hi, Junga. This is Catherine. I just wanted to let everybody know that Jared is here. The special issue, his special issue on student supports, that he's also working with Dennis Beck and Lisa Hassler-Waters on. That is due today, so those articles are due today. And then Michael's Cyber Schools special issue will be due next year, so it'll be more of, I think it was June, Michael, if that's correct. That's when that was coming out in June, so I don't know what your timeline is in terms of when you want those due. The blended learning research special issue is we're looking at likely early 2017 as the publication, but the deadline for that one will be in August for submissions. The English language learning one is very new, so we don't have that slated for a particular issue. Just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Catherine, if someone has an idea for a special topic, do they contact you?
Yep, you can contact either me or Leanna Archambault, and I'll put both of our email addresses here for you as well. And usually what we ask for is just a short abstract initially, and then what ends up happening is we'll have you put a call for articles together, and we have a few of them now that we have examples of so that we can go ahead and share those with you so that you have at least a template to follow from past ones. That is a great question. Jared, I saw that you had about special education issue. We do not have anybody that has proposed one, but we would definitely be interested in it because it is a topic that has not had much play in the journal yet. So we would be more than welcome to see a special issue come in with that. Another very interesting topic and a very welcome one as well, David. Not entirely sure how much research is happening in that area. I think that's one of the concerns that a lot of special issue guest editors have is whether or not there's going to be submissions enough to fill a complete issue. And typically we like to have at least 4 articles, if not 5 articles, and then also have an intro article from the guest editors themselves to kind of introduce the issue. So I think just when keeping in mind that when you do propose a topic, to know who you might target as potential authors. If you already know some folks in the field, just letting them know, hey, this issue is coming out. Do you think you might have something around this time frame that could be considered? That's usually pretty important. And exactly like Michael said, you could easily just have something on at-risk populations. And same thing as what Kristen said as well. Jared, I don't know if you have an opportunity to talk out loud, but did you have any updates on the handbook of blended and online learning research? I know you said you had spoke to Rick Ferdig about that as well.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't quite know the timeline at this point, but we're thinking of doing a second edition to the handbook, and it would give people an opportunity to update the chapters that are already in there. Originally, it was planned that we'd do it very frequently, but I feel like, maybe every couple of years or every 3 years is a better timeline. We're still kind of working through all that, but so to kind of update the existing chapters, but also to identify the gaps in the handbook and find authors to address those gaps. So if you would like to go through that handbook, and if you're not already an author, or maybe even if you are an author and they're already, send us a proposal, and we could consider that for the handbook.
Jared, can you add your email address as well in there?
Oh yeah, sure.
Just a quick follow-up too on the AECT opportunity. I believe that publication is similarly set up, though the topic itself is much broader than the Handbook of Research on Blended and Online Learning. It is similar though because they want, Mike Spector wants it to be something that is continuously updated. So if you have a chapter in there, you will be allowed to kind of continuously update, and they are all available online, each of those chapters that they're putting together in that particular work. So just an FYI for more information on that one. That is a great question, Michael. I believe that it's freely online. I don't think it's just member only, but I could be completely wrong. I getcha. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong and that it is only accessible to AECT or Springer publications. Thanks for that clarification, Michael. Oh, Diana, I just saw your comment about the possibility of focusing on the role of parents in online learning and research in that area. That is another really good topic, and we haven't seen one for that either. So if you're interested in putting together a proposal, we'd be happy to have it. Thanks.
All right, and Christy is going to share more information about publication opportunity through our blog.
Thanks, Chunga. As many of you may know, I know we've had some guest bloggers with us right now. We have a MVLRI blog. We try to post weekly, but we also invite others to do guest blog posts for us. We have some new ones up from Scout, which are really great, so check those out if you haven't yet. Thank you, David. And if you're interested in being a guest blogger, please email us. I'll put our team email in the chat box. And please let us know if you're interested. We would love to have you. really any topic around online and blended learning. We can do short research papers, thought pieces, anything like that. Just let us know. Some more. Oh yeah, we also have the MVLRI Webinar Series, which you may have also attended. If you're interested in hosting, or not hosting, but presenting at any one of those, please let us know. Again, diverse range of topics around online and blended learning. You can also find past webinars on our website if you want to catch up on any of those. Same thing, there's the webinar series information, some collaboration opportunities. This is a bit out of date, but the INACOL conference, I know the reviews are going on right now. Some people on our team are doing those, as well as some of you, I'm sure. So that will be a conference that's coming up for us soon. And then other collaboration opportunities. I'll start this and then leave some time if anyone's got others. We have recently launched, and it will be up on our website very soon, a Dissertation Fellowship. And what it is to encourage the expansion of online learning research. So if you have any grad students that you know of who are entering dissertation phase or finishing up their dissertations and need money to present at conferences or anything like that, they can check out our website for information on the fellowship. I'll leave this open for just a minute if anyone else has any other opportunities that didn't fit with any of the other stuff we were doing. Hi, Jared. The link is not up yet, but maybe what we can do is send out an email once it's up to let everybody know about it. And so we'll get the link out then. And I'm sure we'll publicize it at any upcoming webinars once the link is up.
Kristen, this is Catherine. I'm just going to jump in about the INACOL conference. We have gotten a dedicated space on the pre-conference day to host a full day, not really pre-conference, but it's similar to what happened last year where we had a research community meeting. So everybody comes together. We'll plan out the day so that we have opportunities to network with researchers, as well as practitioners, potentially even have, from Justin and Becky's amazing facilitation last year, we had a lot of practitioners in there too who were looking for researchers to potentially do work in their schools and programs. So definitely look for an opportunity to participate in that and or register. It will be a free meeting. They tried to have us have it be paid for. It will not be paid for. So, or it will not be a paid for event. So you can go ahead and just register for free. We are also trying to do the same thing at the OLC. I'm going to get this wrong. I think it's Accelerate because I think Innovate is actually happening right now. That we are going to have another space there as well to help to bring about their K-12 growth, because they, as Michael knows, because he got us involved in it last year, that they're trying to grow their K-12 group. So that is another opportunity. It's OLC Accelerate, and that happens, I believe, in October. And INACOL will be in November in San Antonio. Okay, that's all for me.
Any other
That's a Sorry about that. I was just going to answer Michael's question. That's a great question, Michael. I'm not sure we didn't have the chance to follow up with anybody, but I apologize for the other comment you made in terms of that there wasn't much collaboration beyond what happened at the webinars last year, we're looking to help facilitate those relationships potentially. So if you do have, we've made connections anyway between researchers and programs. So if there is a particular type of research that you'd like to do, you can go ahead and let us know and we can help with that. Michael, go ahead.
It wasn't so much actually, I'm not sure if I'm coming through because I had to click on something there. It wasn't so much specific research that I was looking to do. And it wasn't just myself either. I know of at least 4 other folks that had asked me if I had had a similar experience where we arranged for meetings with one or more of the presenters. In my case, I actually had separate meetings with, I think, 5 of them. And planned out things that were of interest to them to actually complete, and invested the time to sort of put together a plan and instruments, or at least identify things. And then when it came time to actually do something, we just never heard from them. And like I said, my experience was similar to what at least 4 others had. Now the other 4 only mentioned it happening with 1 or 2. But if I remember correctly, of the 4 sessions there were likely only about 9 to 11 people, and I'm pretty sure that we represented about 2/3 of the folks that you had present in the sample that I'm working with.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that that was the case, and hoping that we can help facilitate those relationships moving forward if we need to. I think that it's important for us to get into those programs and be able to, do the research and show what's not working and what is working, and then for what's not working, make sure that we can do something about it.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about some work that they're doing, research that they're working on, anything that the group might be able to help with? We'll take a minute or 2 for this. David, thank you for your question. I'm going to pass that one over to Chunga because she does our stats work. So Chunga, maybe you can talk a little bit about the software that you use or have used in the past and found useful.
Since I'm working with the data from the perspective of traditional statistics, so I'm using oftentimes the Stata at my current position, and sometimes I'm using R software because of its capacity to handle big data. And also for the more like advanced or sophisticated modeling, I'm using M+. And I know there's some statistical software for the researchers who are more like based on the educational data mining. One of them was developed by Dr. Baker in Teacher College, Columbia University. I can't recall the exact title. And sometimes I use the USINET to capture the interactions or a social network. So that's all I have now.
Thanks, Chunga. It looks like Diane is offering to work on research projects because she misses it. I would miss it too. I love doing research. That's my favorite. Let's see. Michael's providing some suggestions as well for working with larger data sets. So thank you, Michael, for that. All right, well, feel free to keep talking in the chats. Just want to let everybody know we have a webinar coming up on May 4th at 2 p.m. The topic is teachers using designerly thinking in K-12 online course design. We've got some researchers from Indiana and Purdue University. So we'll hope that you can join us for that. But again, if you cannot, we post all of our webinars on our website, MVLRI.org. And if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email us. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And you have, I think, some of our personal emails, but you can always get a hold of our team at this mvlri@mivu.org. Again, feel free to keep chatting in the chat box, and if anyone has anything else that they want to share, please feel free to use your mic. But other than that, thank you for joining us, and we will hope to see you at our next meeting.